Hello everybody and welcome back. Welcome to part 2 of our Martini Brabham build. It's a 1/12 scale by Tamiya. So in the last video we got quite a bit done. I'll just bring that down and show you what's there. So there's our cockpit with all the fire extinguisher. We've got the steering column in there, the shifter, everything's fitted up. The front suspension is in with the brackets on there, and it's all painted up, looking good. I was thinking about going on and doing some decals to go on the side of here, but I want to wait a little while because we're moving on to other areas of the build that sort of put this aside for the moment. And when we do come back to it, all my concern is that one of the decals goes all the way along here and round into the corner. I don't want it to be obscured by any other parts that may go on there. But until that happens and we get to that point, then we'll decide whether we'll go and put the decals on. Because the instructions do tell us put the decals on right at the end, but yeah, there's going to be a little bit tricky doing that. Anyway, so we're actually up to step 10 now, and step 10 is the front uprights, which we've got to make 2 of. I'll just put this out of the way and we'll have a look at the instructions. There they are there. So we're here, and no, I've made a mistake. We're getting ahead of myself. We're actually up to step 9. Okay, is that right? Yes, we are. Step 9? No. There we go. I'm on the complete wrong page. There we go. So let's try that again. I won't start again. We'll just continue on and make my correction. We are up to step 7. Okay, all of this here in step 6 is now complete, so we can cross that off completely. So step 7 is the oil tank. So we're going to put together the oil tank, the front upper arms, and there's 2 of those, and it doesn't look too difficult. And we'll see how well we can get this all painted up. There's quite a couple of different colors to be used on that, so we'll see how we go there. Alright, so I'll grab these pieces off the sprue, get them all cleaned up, and then we'll have a look at them and see about putting these bits together. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. One more thing I meant to say is, if you're first coming into this channel and watching this video for the first time, this is part 2. There's a playlist named Martini Brabham. You can go into that and have a look right from the unboxing and review of the kit to the part 1 that we've done up until what we're at now. Okay, alright, back again in a sec. Okay, so there's the parts to our tank. Our tank? Gosh, what am I thinking? There's our parts to our oil tank. Okay, now this will all go together and then we can paint it all as one piece. The only part that's black will be this top little cap, which will sit right on the top here. So I will paint that a little bit separate. And then there's, from what I can tell, both the tips on those where it looks like some hoses might attach, they're also going to be black as well. Other than that, that's it. So that's pretty easy to do. So I'll throw that together, and I'll get it primed up as well. I'll put the Mr. Surfacer grey over it, and then we'll come back before I do the aluminium. Okay, back again shortly. Hey there, I'm back. I just want to show you I've gone ahead and done the next part of step 7, which is the upper arms. I figured I'm going to undercoat it, might as well do all of these parts. So something to be aware of, these pieces, they go in and then you twist it so that it faces the right way, but you want to make sure that when you glue it, and I'm using Mr. Cement here, alright, be very careful where you touch it for it to glue, because you don't want to glue this and have this not move. I'm sorry, I'm off the camera. There we go. Okay, so make sure that the glue's not stopping or preventing that from moving. Okay, it swings freely like that, so we're good to go. Okay, so that's one side done. I'm just going to attach the other side up. I sanded it a little bit and made sure everything's nice and clean, and Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so I'll do the next one now, and then I can go and paint them. Okay, back in a sec. Hey guys, I'm back again, and I lied again. I haven't painted them yet. I decided to go on and do step 8 as well. Okay, so step 8 is these radiators and some more brackets. All these brackets here are going to be done in black, which is what the same as these will be, and our radiators here, TS29, guessing that's going to be silver, aluminium. I'll check on that. So yeah, I'll do all that as well, and get them all prepped for painting, because over in the next step all those parts get put on the thing, so we might as well go right up to when we get putting them on the body, and then we move on a completely separate thing again, which will be, looks like some brakes or front uprights, a different thing. So we'll do that. Okay, yeah, sounds like a plan. All right, yeah, I'll come back with all those parts off the sprues and prepped up and ready to paint. Okay, so there's all our parts ready to paint. I'm going to use the black Mr. Surfacer, which I haven't used before yet on this model anyway. There it is there. So I'll use that for most of this, for the radiators and so forth. But this part here, which will be aluminium, I'll still do that with the grey primer. Okay, and also this last little piece, the bits of rubber hose that were in the packet here. And now I know what they're for. They're actually the radiator hoses. Alright, I'll go paint these and get them primed and be right back. Cheers all. Okay, welcome back. So here we go, with all our parts painted. We've got our oil tank here, done in the aluminium. So that's all finished. We just got to do a little touch up of some black on the tips of those, what looks like it's going to have pipes attached or hoses attached. And on the piece here, this is already black, so that's got to be put on the top of that, and that's done. The front upper arms, here they are. Pieces are still haven't glued in place, so they're rotating, so that's really good. They're set to go. They're done in the black. They look really nice. And we've also got this piece here, which attaches to the radiators. And there's the two radiators you can see there. That'll go between the two. I'll attach those shortly along with this piece, and this piece here needs to be done with some darker flat black on those tips there, and that center piece in there needs to be done X11, which, if a quick look, is X11 is chrome silver. So what I'll do is I'll mask up either end of that and I'll spray that the chrome silver. That should look really nice. And of course there's our rubber radiator hoses. Alright, so yeah, I'll put these together, and then we'll bring down our the body of the Formula 1 car, where we can start attaching them. Now, one other thing I noticed going over to step 9, which I'll just show you here for a second. There it is there. So that's the radiators going on the front there, that's those arms going on there, and then we'll have to put all this together and paint them up. But what it's got here is the under panel of the car going on the bottom. Sure, we know that. Here it is here, ready to go, but it doesn't tell me what color to paint it. I've looked through the whole instructions everywhere. Doesn't tell me, it doesn't give any paint reference. Now obviously I'm pretty sure it was aluminium underneath, and that's what I'm going to do it. So I'll undercoat that in the grey Mr. Surfacer, and then cover that in the aluminium. Alright, but yeah, just a note there, it doesn't tell you what colour to paint it. Alright, I will continue on, we'll be back again in a sec. Hey, we're back again. I'm just showing you a few more bits here. So these are the two radiators connected. The trick here is to make sure everything is square and while it's drying, and I've used the grid on my mat here to help line up the vertical and horizontal radiators in these frames here. So I'm letting that dry like that. In the meantime, I've done this piece, So that's done with the center aluminium done. It's come up really nice, and again that's still drying. And now I've just gone and painted the base of the car, so I've done the undercoat on that. I'll give that an hour and I'll go over there and do the aluminium colouring on that as well, and then we'll be able to turn over the page, but which we pretty much can show you what we're at now. So let's not jump ahead like I did last time. So 7 is done. All right, so there's that oil tank and the 2 upper arms. They're all done, so we can cross off number 7. Number 8, we've put the radiators together. That's all gluing in piece there that you just saw. There's that little bit that's going to go on there afterwards. In fact, I'll probably put that on now just to make sure everything's straight, so that can go on. And then we'll be over the page at step 9, where we put those all on the front of the body of the car. There's the base going on, and then we'll start working on all of that. Okay, so I'll cross off what we've done, and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So let's get some of these parts on here. I've painted the floor pan of this in the aluminium, and then I've used some clear coat, which is the different brand. I'm trying and see how that goes on. Like, it's an acrylic lacquer, so I put that on. I'll see how that looks when it's dried up properly. But in the meantime, we need to put these on. We've got one going on this side, and we'll have one going on the other side over there. So what happens is, we've got this needs to go in here. There's 2 little points, they're going to sit in there, and this will click down into the bottom of the spring there, shock absorber. I'll bring that up and you can see better. Yeah, you see, so this little piece is going to hook onto there, and they're going to hook into there, and I'll do the same on both sides. And I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. Might be to put the top in first. Yeah, I think I'll try and do the top first. So let's put that in there. And it's always such a tight fit. There we go. Well, that went okay. There we go, that one's in. Now I just discovered putting the front peg in the hole before the back one is easier. There we go, there's a tip. Now let's get this bottom hook in the bottom under there. Turn it around so you can see a bit better. So we need to hook that into the bottom of the shock absorber there, like that. I might need the tweezers for this, might make it easier. Put that back in the position there. And almost. Alright. Okay. Alright, let me do this without getting my fingers in the way. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so that went on okay. I had a scary moment where the top of the the shock absorber unclipped from in the top there, and it fell through, and I thought, oh, that one's hanging lower than this end, and then I realized, so I managed to hold it up and then clip it back on, and now, as you can see, everything is in there straight and everything is operating as it should. So okay, so far so good. Now we just got to attach the radiators here onto the front, and I'm just going to check, make sure that everything's the right way around and everything's going to line up. That looks good. That looks good. That's going to go in there. So there's 2 locating pins at the top. There's get that out for a second. It is going to be a little tricky though. So there's 2 locating pins at the top, 2 at the bottom, and those holes are where the radiator hoses go into. So again, I'll have to do this off camera and come back, and I'll let you know how easily that went on. Okay, fingers crossed, back soon. Okay, so there it is, glued on, just letting it dry. It lined up well, which I'm really happy. It was just a matter of getting the radiator hoses in the hole first on one side, and then the other 2 would line up and go straight in, no problem at all, and then going across and doing the same on the other side. And then once they were there holding it in place, I just tapped a bit of glue in there, and yeah, there it is. And you think that looking complicated, this is nowhere near what's finished on the front end yet. We've still got like a sway bar and some more piping and tubes and hoses, and yeah, quite a bit to go. All right, so now because I'm waiting on that floor out there to dry with the varnish, which will take a little bit longer than normal, I can't put this oil tank on yet because it goes right on the back and connects down onto the floor, but I think it will actually pop up through there. But in the meantime, I might as well get all those other little bits and pieces off, which are all of these on step 9, because again we've got more painting to do, more detail work. There's a fire extinguisher there, a few other bits and pieces, all to go up on this top area here. Okay, so work continues. I'll be back shortly. Hey there, welcome back. So it's the next day, and I've glued on the base of the car, the floor. So that's gone on, no problem at all. Although I must admit, off camera, I was putting a clamp on the front here, one of these larger ones here, just to help hold it in place. I won't do it again, but basically just to hold it, I put the clamp, just a clamp there and there to hold this together. I did the same here and here, but it slipped out of my hand and it ripped everything out of the center there. So all those parts in the middle went everywhere. And I thought, oh my God. Fortunately, nothing broke. It just tore them out of their places where they were glued in. So I spent an hour cleaning them up and then putting them all back in, and everything's back as good as normal. It could have been a lot worse than it was. So, but otherwise, that's all done now. And I've moved on and done, undercoated the other parts. They're all done. And I'm just doing that fire extinguisher. There's a fire extinguisher that will be fitting on the back here. And I'll show you that. I'll just move that out of the way. So here's our fire extinguisher. And what I did was I've done it in the white that it's supposed to be, and then it's got the silver bands, the straps that are holding it. And I've used, as it says, there it is, the equivalent of X11, which is Mr. Hobby's Mr. Colour 159. But rather than using a paintbrush, and they are quite raised on there, so I was feeling fairly confident, I used one of these little Icky Sticky brushes. So I'll show you the packet actually, you can get a better look at what I'm talking about. So these are the micro brush applicators. They're 2 millimeters. Good for stuff like this where you just go along and just put your paint on, and it'll just on the raised section, and then there we go, we have the straps all done. So that worked out really well. Now I need to go paint the other parts, which I think most of them are all black. And yeah, so that won't take me long. I'll grab them, I'll bring them back, and we'll fit them to the car. And along with that oil tank, which we'll be able to put in now, that will complete step 9. So yeah, all right, I'll be back in a sec. Hey there, back again. I'm just currently putting these parts on the back here. So I've just placed that piece in there and this piece in here. I'm about to put this little piece goes into that spot there, and make sure it fits like we do. Always test fit everything. There's nothing worse than getting a piece with glue on it and finding then that it doesn't fit, like that one. Oh, well, that wasn't meant to happen. I pushed that piece right through, didn't I? Okay, I have to be careful here, so bring that piece back up again. Okay, all right, let me do a bit of surgery on this and I'll get back to you in a sec. Okay, back. That required a bit of delicate surgery. When that fell through, I couldn't get underneath because the base of this is glued on. There's no other access around, so I had to get in there with the tweezers and put my tweezers through the hole and hold it up while I put some glue around and let that dry, and it stayed there, so we're good. I popped the other two pieces in, so they're all good as well. So I'm still letting that dry. We won't have to touch that, but we can get on with the other parts now, and that is including the extinguisher. So we'll just pop that, do a quick test fit, and again they're keyed, so you can't put it in the wrong way around. That one's going to go just like that. Okay, so that's cool. Then we have this piece here, which goes across the back inside there, and I'm making sure that's up the right way, which is that way, and that's going to sit. There's a little ledge along there for that to sit on. So I'll go ahead and do that. And there's also, you'll see these two spots on the side here, one on each side. They get it filled in with these little black pieces we did, and I'll pop those in there. All right, hopefully that'll all go into one, go fine. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so there's all our parts on. We've got that piece that went in there in the back looking good. Got that glued on, the extinguisher. These two little pieces put on, and now we've got to put the oil tank, which should just slide in there like that, and that'll be in there. Looks good. I'll just glue that in now, and that is the end of step 9. Let me just move that over to the side for a second to bring out the instructions. So that's done now, so we can cross off step 9, tick that, and we're all good. Step 10, front uprights. I don't know why they call them that, front uprights. It's actually the front disc brakes and calipers, but anyway, I noticed this with the last Tamiya car I did too. They call them uprights. Anyway, they're the discs, they're the calipers, that's the brakes, and it looks like there's an arm out there that holds on to, yeah, there's something there that needs a screwdriver. That'll be interesting. We'll check that out. And we have to make 2, and we've got our right one and left one, which is on the left side and right side of the instructions, as they are. All right, there's some screws, I see. So we've got some screws in the packet, must be in the box there. Okay, so I'll glue that oil filter in, and we'll come back and have a look at getting these parts off the sprue. Okay, back shortly. Okay, we're back. Here's all the parts we need for the right hand side brake calipers, or front uprights as they call it in step 10. I've done both of these ones with the screws in them. You just need a Phillips head screwdriver, screw that through, and that will go into, that's the main part there, so that's going to go in through that way, I think. Yeah, it goes in there somehow. All right, there's the brake calipers, there's the discs in 2 parts. They line up, there's a couple of pins there to line them up, so that's easy to do. Then there's an arm that'll latch onto a piece on there. Okay, and yeah, so what I'll do is I'll put this one together, and I'll also do the other side. And I'm also thinking, because these here are going to be a grey, so I might, there's a lot of detail like the bolts and stuff on here, so I might do them with some silver chrome. Same with on the caliper, on the discs there, I'll do a bit of chrome. So maybe even the bolts on here, might touch them up with a bit of chrome as well, just to add a bit more detail. Okay, but that's the end of this video, part 2. We're going to have to come back in part 3 and have a look at that. We'll go through any of the little bits and pieces. I definitely won't be putting it on the car before part 3. You'll see that happen. We'll just get them all put together and ready to go on the car, because step 11 is actually fitting them. But then we've got a few other things. There's some we've got some hoses that look like going in here. I think we're actually doing the console as well, so putting the decals on and doing the dashboard or console on here, as well as the roll bar. So there's a fair bit to come up in the next video. So thanks all for watching. Don't forget to watch me do a live stream every weekend. You can check out the live link on the channel and see when they are and when that time is on for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also the option there to join if you're interested in supporting the channel a bit more and having getting a few extra perks. Alright, okay, I'll catch you all later in the next video. Bye for now. Cheers.